Welcome to my channel. I'm teacher Andrew Oribiana. I create contents on the different subjects in the Philippine curriculum, especially music, philosophy, and theology. I also make videos on the Bible. I also create LEPT or BLEP reviewers for those who will take the board exam. With this channel, I hope to share with others the fruits of my years of studies. This is Lesson 11 on Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems. Our topic for this video is Shintoism. After this lesson, the learners are expected to have examined the brief history, core teachings, fundamental beliefs, practices, and issues related to Shintoism. Historical background of Shintoism. Shintoism is considered as the main religion of Japan. The word Shinto literally means the way of the gods. Around 80% of Japanese population practice Shinto rituals as a way of life, although only around 40% of them consider it as their religion. Syncretism, or the merging of different religions, is a common practice for most Japanese, so Shinto is commonly observed alongside the elements of other great religions, especially Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. Majority of Japanese population are known for their great devotion to invisible spiritual beings and powers. This kind of devotion is the very heart of Shintoism. Shinto believes in the existence of kami or spirits. The numerous shrines they built in honor of these spirits are testaments for their love of spiritual beings. Followers of Shintoism believe that the kami guide them and give them good fortune and prosperity. The different rituals in Shintoism are actually ways of placating the spirits. These kami reach 8 million in number. Shintoism is considered as an ethnic or indigenous religion, that is, a religion that is not diffused or spread through missionary activities outside the country of origin, but whose adherents are clustered together, in the case of Shinto, in Japan. It can also be classified as a nature religion because they believe that nature is permeated with divinity and because it is characterized by reverence for nature. Kami veneration and animistic belief has been held by the Japanese people from ancient times. Shinto, which is the first recognized religion practiced in Japan, has been observed as early as the Yayoi culture, that is, from 300 BCE to 300 CE. To communicate with the spirit world, they asked the help of shamans. For the ancient Japanese people, the kami, or gods, spirits, and supernatural forces, dwell in places in nature that exude beauty. Hence, Shinto is also known as kami no michi, or literally, house or place of the gods or spirits. In Shintoism, natural phenomena and geographical features are given divine characteristics. Good examples of this are the sun goddess Amaterasu, the wind god Susanoo, and Fuji, the god of volcano, from where the name of Mount Fuji is derived. There are also concepts of evil spirits in Shintoism. Not all spirits are good. There are also demons or oni that are depicted as giants with 3 eyes and horns. They also believe in obake or ghosts that should be sent away using rituals so they would cause no harm to anybody. In the first quarter of the 12th century CE, due to syncretism, some Shinto kami spirits and Buddhist bodhisattvas have been combined and formed into a single deity. This combining of Shinto gods and Buddhist bodhisattvas happened in Ryobo Shinto, or dual aspect Shinto, a syncretic school that combines Shinto beliefs with the teachings of the Shingon sect of Buddhism. Hence, it is also called as Shingon Shinto. It was, however, obvious that Shinto was more closely associated with the imperial house and considered women in a more positive way. These two religions would formally separate in the 19th century. When Japan lost in World War II, the emperor, who has been believed to be divine in the state Shinto system, was asked to renounce his assertion of his divinity. To make sure that the separation of state and religion in the present situation is observed, the shrines in Japan are now allowed to operate independently, free from the influence of the state. The sacred text in Shintoism. The followers of Shinto consider Kojiki and Nihonji as their sacred texts. These texts, however, are not exclusively about Shinto beliefs, but also contain information about Confucianism and Buddhism. The said scriptures are also not only religious, but also moral and political in nature. They are collections of ancient myths and traditional teachings. These texts expound that the kami chose the Japanese people as a special race, and that Japan should be established supreme in the whole world with the help of the ruling families. These sacred texts contain the Shinto belief about the political supremacy of the Yamato people, or the ethnic group who are native of the Japanese archipelago. These texts therefore give the Japanese people a sense of pride, for they both show that their rulers and their race descended from the gods. This is also the key to understanding the obvious and strong sense of nationalism among the Japanese people. From these sacred texts, we can find dualism, especially in the stories about Izanagi, the sky god, and Izanami, the Mother Earth. Dualism is also depicted in the texts about Amaterasu, the benevolent child, and her brother Susanoo Wono Mikoto, who performs evil acts. The Kojiki and Nihonji also give special importance and prominence to purification as possessing creative and cleansing characteristics. In these sacred books, death is seen as a supreme kind of uncleanness. The Kojiki, which Shinto followers believe to be based on the eternal and cyclical world, is composed of 3 books. Its first book is the Age of Kami, which gives account of the mythology, and the other 2 give account of the imperial family up to the death of Empress Suiko, the 33rd ruler. The third book of Kojiki is a story in a song format that relates the revolts and love stories of successive rulers put together. It also contains what transpired in the reign of Emperor Kenzo and the lineage of each imperial family. These 3 books of the Kojiki reflect the establishment of the 3 orders, namely that of the universe, of the humanity, and of history. The Nihonji, also called as Nihon Shoki, is considered as Japan's first official history and a record of how the Yamato rulers of Japan descended from the gods. It was completed after 39 years. Nihonji was compiled by Prince Toneri together with other historians and bureaucrats. Composed of 30 books, the first 2 books of this compilation narrate the age of the Kami, while the remaining books record incidents related to the rulers up to the 41st Emperor of Japan. The Nihonji combines political elements with myths and folklores. When it was completed in 720 CE, It was said important in the restructuring of Japan by Yamato rulers, and also important in the naming of the country as Nippon. Core beliefs and teachings in Shintoism. Central to Shintoism is kami worship. It is therefore important to explain a bit how Shinto believers understand what kami are. For them, kami are not all-powerful beings. The term gods is also not an accurate translation, as the term kami includes a wide expanse of supernatural beings or forces. Generally, there are three kinds of kami: the Ujigami, or ancient ancestors of entire clans; kami who reside in elements and forces of nature, including elements of the landscape, forces of nature, beings, and the qualities that they express; and the souls of exceptional human beings who died. They believe that even the emperor can become a kami. Most of the time, the word kami is translated as spirits, phenomena, or holy powers. They are believed to possess human characteristics and at times could even behave badly. They are invisible beings that have existed prior to the creation of the Japanese islands. There are numerous of them and they can appear anywhere. In Shintoism, they even have what they call as the 800 myriads of kami, or Yao Yoruzu, some of which are deities of clans who were elevated as deities of their communities. The following are just some of the kami in Shintoism. Amaterasu Omikami, Sun Goddess, greatest of the kami, kami of the Ise Shrine, ancestor of the imperial family. Benten, music and the arts. Ebisu, prosperity and abandoned liege child of Izanami and Izanagi. Hachiman, archery and war. Izanami, the sky god. Izanagi, earth goddess. Susanoo, wind, storm, and Amaterasu's brother. Tenjin, education. The concept of purity. Another central concept in Shintoism is that of purity and impurity. Each person should strive to preserve purity in physical, external, and even material aspects of his or her life. Things or acts that signify impurity are considered evil, since they consider blood as impure. Events in women's life that involve blood would render them impure, such as menstruation and childbirth. This is the reason why women should be isolated for a certain period. That means that they are not allowed during the said period to stay in the same house with their family and to eat meals with them. Women in this situation would therefore have to stay in house built specifically for this purpose, and men are not allowed to visit them in their menstruation house or taya. Women are also prohibited from visiting Shinto shrines and climb sacred mountains in the entirety of their menstruation. Although purification forms a great part of the Shinto religion, it is more of the external or physical nature and not spiritual. When someone commits sin, he or she can easily be cleansed by doing a specific ceremony or rites. In Shintoism, sickness is considered as a manifestation of impurity which even the kami dislike. Being bitten by insects, being struck by thunderbolt, incestuous sexual relations, as well as bestiality or sexual relation with animals, or other acts that are considered impure in Shintoism. De or virtue. In the Shinto religion, if someone wishes to get the favor of a particular kami, one should undergo a purification ritual accurately. Purification is accomplished in different ways, which includes washing one's hands with water, rinsing the mouth, taking a bath, standing under waterfalls. These cleansing rituals are better done in the shrine. After washing one's hand in the shrine, a person is expected to let some water to drip into the handle of the ladle, so the handle can also be cleansed and be ready for the next user. One should also respect nature where the spirits live. This same respect for nature is the reason why Japanese people value beauty, goodness, truth, and morality, since these are ways by which a person can live in harmony with nature. This is also one of the reasons why places in Japan are generally preserved clean. A Shinto religion promotes high veneration and conservation of nature. Very clearly for them it is one way of appeasing the kami. Worship and observances in Shintoism. Shintoism gives importance to the details of the rites and ceremonies which are usually performed in the shrines, the abode of the spirits or kami, which they visit when it is convenient to them. They believe that the performance of their rituals in Shintoism will give them the blessings that they ask from the spirits. Before they started building shrines for their deities, what served as their shrines were things in nature, including the mountains, rivers, trees, and rocks. The wooden shrines that they constructed depict their veneration of the environment. They would not paint the woods that they would use for their shrines to show their natural beauty. The following are the rituals performed in Shintoism. Shinto Rite of Passage. The following are the rites of passage observed in Shintoism that covers from one's birth up to his or her death. The first one is called Hatsumiyama-iri, or the first shrine visit. This is the first visit of newborn children, so they can be placed under the protection of the spirits or kami. It is the task of the grandmother to do this rite, since the child's mother is considered impure. There is a slight difference of this rite for boys and girls. This visit is done for a boy on the second day, while for a girl on the third day. The second is Shichi-go-san, or 753. This is another traditional rite of passage that expresses the gratitude for the protection given by the kami to the children. It is also an occasion to ask for continuous protection of the kami so the children will grow healthy. This festival is called Shichi-go-san because this visit to the shrine is done by boys aged 5 and by girls aged 3 and 7 on the 15th of November. The third is Adults' Day or Seijin Shiki. In Japan, 20 is being considered as the legal age of adulthood, and so this festival is also the first time by the 20-year-olds to dress in adult clothing. The one who are expected to observe the Seijin Shiki are those who had celebrated their 20th birthday on the previous year. This visit to the shrine is done on the 15th of January to thank the kami. The fourth one is the wedding rites or Shinzen-kakon. The wedding rites in Shintoism is usually a small affair involving only the family. Shinzen-kakon literally means wedding before the kami. It is actually a purification rite where the couple exchange sake before they get married. The bride wears a white kimono symbolizing purity. This is patterned after the wedding of Princess Sado and Crown Prince Yoshihito in the year 1900. The fifth one is the funeral rites or sosai. Shinto funerals develop from Buddhist funeral rites. Different from the other rites, this one is not done in the Shinto shrines, and they are done not by priests, but by lay people. When it comes to ritual purifications in Shintoism, there are three important terms to remember: misogi, harae or harai, and imi. Misogi is the Shinto practice of ritual ablutions done by washing a part of the body for a religious purpose. This purifying bath is done by the entire family after a funeral to remove from one's body any uncleanness caused by their exposure to their deceased member. The second purification term is harae or harai, which is the version of exorcism in Shintoism. This is done with the priest driving away the evil spirit while swinging his purification wand. These first two terms are related to one another and are collectively known as misogi harai. The third term is quite a unique form of purification, imi, wherein one abstains from indulging into something they like as part of their preparation in the rites of offering and dedication. They would offer rice wine or sake, and other foods to their gods. Then there would be music and dancing, and the most important part of the ritual, the prayers to their deities. Now let us look into the different types of worship, the use of amulets and charms, and the seasonal festivals. The followers of Shintoism worship their kami both at home and at their Shinto shrines, both on special occasions of their life and in different festivals. Inside their houses and with the use of a miniature household altars or kamidana, they would make offerings to the kami, perform purification rituals, and offer prayers to the spirits. Shinto believers also visit their shrines for ceremonial worship. They follow specific steps of cleansing that includes rinsing of hands, spitting, throwing of coins, bowing, clapping, using the gong, and praying. The gong is used to call the attention of the kami. In Shintoism, amulets and charms are believed to provide protection and to possess magic that can guard them and their homes. The Japanese term used to refer to charms and amulets sold at their shrines and temples is mamori or omamori. These amulets assure them of the guidance and protection from their deities, while their charms serve different purposes, including fulfilling a lover's wish, easy birthing, and expurgation of intestinal worms. The objects or articles they used in the ceremonies in their shrine that are believed to possess magic are called shimpu. Although the term matsuri can be used to refer to the wide variety of civil and religious ceremonies in Japan, more specifically, it refers to the shrine festivals in Shintoism. Each shrine in Shintoism has its own festival that is held once a year to celebrate the shrine's kami or a historical event. Some festivals can last for several days. Similar to what Catholics do with their images, Shinto believers would carry around the town the figure of their local kami using a decorated float or dashi. While some of these festivals are celebrated in a quiet manner, majority of them involve loud celebration complete with drums and flutes. The Great Purification Festival. The Great Purification Festival is a celebration that recreates the act of purification that gave birth to Susanoo, Tsukiyomi, and Amaterasu, three deities in Shintoism. It is celebrated in all shrines twice a year, around the beginning of summer every June, and a New Year's festival every December. This celebration includes a ritual where priests recite the Great Purification called Norito, as they wave a cleansing wand over the people who are present in the ceremony. The priests would rub paper dolls on their bodies, symbolizing the transfer of their uncleanness to the dolls. After the ritual, these dolls are thrown away by the priests or kanushi. For this ritual to be successful, precision is required in every step of the ceremony. New Year Festival. Another important festival for the Shinto followers is the New Year Festival, when people would visit Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples. It is a quiet and solemn celebration in Japan that would begin on the first day of January until the third day. During the New Year Festival, people would purchase in their shrine what is called as omikuji, or a strip of paper which predicts one's near future, specifically for the next year. It is a Japanese type of fortune telling. Subdivisions of Shintoism. Before World War II, there were 4 subdivisions of Shintoism: State Shinto, Shrine Shinto, Sect Shinto, and Folk Shinto. At present, however, only the last 3 exist. Let us now look further into the existing subdivisions of Shintoism and see why State Shinto was absorbed by Shrine Shinto. Shrine Shinto or Jinja. The Shrine Shinto is now considered as both the traditional and purified kind of Shintoism, where the state and imperial Shinto now belong. Historically, the State Shinto subdivision was created in the 19th century by the Japanese government when Shintoism enjoyed the support of the government and was made Japan's state religion. This was at the time when Japan experienced a transformation to a modern nation. With Shrine Shinto, people were able to express not only their religiosity, but also their love for their country. In this context, Japanese people were expected to serve in their shrines, and their priests were placed under the control of the empire. Children were also educated into the divine origin of their country. After the Second World War, which was a major setback to Japan and its religion, the State Shinto was abolished as a separate subdivision, but its contribution in Shintoism in general is still recognizable, and somehow it continued to exist under a new Shinto subdivision called Jinja or Shrine Shinto. Shrine Shinto is what surfaced after the Second World War. Shinto people worked together by forming an association, the Association of Shinto Shrines, that spearheaded the rebuilding of Shinto shrines destroyed by the war. They also trained Shinto priests under whose custody the rebuilt shrines are entrusted and under whose spiritual leadership rituals are observed. Sect Shinto or Kyoha. This particular Shinto subdivision combines elements of traditional Shinto, Buddhism, and folk religions. The date of its foundation is unknown, but it is clear that farmers and peasants in the rural areas of Japan started this sect. This particular subdivision refers to the 13 organized sects that are more concerned with the earthly life of its followers and were recognized by the imperial government in the late 19th century. These 13 sects were called by the government as religions, along with the other faiths like Buddhism and Confucianism, and their place of worship called churches to distinguish them from the shrines that are under the control of the Japanese Empire. Another distinguishing characteristic of Kyoha is that they were founded and led by women, reflecting women's prominent role in ancient Japan. Under sect Shintoism, there are 5 recognizable subclassifications according to Ban. They are Pure Shinto sects, Confucian sects, Mountain sects, Purification sects, and Faith Healing sects. Folk Shinto or Minzoku. The last subdivision in Shintoism is folk or popular Shinto. This particular kind of Shinto is deeply connected with growing of crops, major blessings, and important events in their lives like birth and marriage. It contains elements of Buddhism, traditional Shinto, and other religions in the area. The time of its foundation is unknown. It is considered as a Japanese folk religion that is associated with superstition, magic, and common practices, and other traditional practices of the Japanese people. No priest is required, nor a formal shrine. Many who belong to this subdivision worship their local kami at in-home shrines, also known as kamidana or God shelf. Because it emphasizes purification, these in-home shrines consist of a fountain with a stone altar and two bowls, one of which is for cleansing the mouth and the other for washing the hands. Issues of Shintoism. Buddhism and World War II. Shintoism did not only coexist with Buddhism in Japan, it also got some of its elements from Buddhism, like the concepts that are related to the afterlife. The growth of Shinto has been threatened by the growth of other religions, especially Buddhism, and by the defeat of Japan in the Second World War. Despite these challenges, Shintoism continued to flourish. In 2007, it was estimated that there were 2,797,700 Shinto followers in the world and around 4 million adherents in 2020. Religion of ecology versus Japan's economic goals. Part of the teachings of Shintoism is the reverence that should be accorded to nature. This is the reason why it is sometimes called as a religion of ecology. Japan, however, is also considered as an economic giant with pervasive business goals, resulting in the death of forests not only in Japan but also in other countries. The challenge here is how to reconcile the love of nature taught in Shintoism with the need for economic advancement advocated by Japan. Lack of institutional structure for missionary activities. Another challenge that Shintoism faces is the lack of a strong institutional structure that will enable it to spread outside of Japan through missionary activities. In a way, this is remedied by Japanese migrants' continuous practice of Shinto rituals in their new country of residence. Issues concerning the divinity of the Japanese emperor. The association between Shintoism and Japanese government has been a source of controversies, resulting into raids to the presumed divinity of the emperor. George Williams, in his book Shinto in 2004, lined up some of these questions. Here are two of them. First, what does it mean for modern Japan, no longer culturally or militarily imperial, to have a divine emperor? Second, can Shinto and Japan take responsibility for mistakes made and atrocities committed in the name of the divine emperor? Thank you for watching. See you on my other videos on Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems.